Hey everyone, this is Elias from Match Media, and today we're going to be discussing the 2022 Mazda Miata Grand Touring. Now, I want to discuss some of the new changes for 2022 and what's going to be beyond. What's going to be the next generation? What's going to be the new answer? Well, let's get started. Now, this review is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to take a look at this specific 2022. There's one detail that is really different in this that has made this such a better Miata. Yeah, I thought it couldn't get better, but it does. And the next thing I want to kind of discuss is maybe what I'd like to see in the next generation. And we're going to break it down into different sections of the car. So let's get started on the front. Nothing has changed for the 2022 compared to the other one that I have reviewed in the past. So if you want a full review, definitely go right up there. I will be posting the link so that you can see the previous model that we had for full review on that. But yeah, we take a look at the front, and yeah, we have the LED lights. Definitely want to keep for, I would say, for next year or for next generation really, is still some of that angry look to it, because this has a nice look to it. Maybe some different aero pieces to distinguish between the different trim levels. Maybe a cool, Mazda speed. Maybe we can bring that back to the Miata. But I would say, yes, something more aggressive on this to kind of differentiate those different trims. Because, yeah, when we have this, you kind of, with the Grand Touring and the other base models, they're very subtle, but not too much, which I guess is fine. But let's go beyond. Let's go beyond that. So I would say that would be for the front. The colors, you guys have it down. Mazda, your guys' red is untouchable. Yeah, it's right up there with Ferrari's reds. But your guys' reds are so unbelievable, and this gray is just as nice too. So it is a nice color. It's very subdued, but it still gets your attention, which is a nice look to it. But yeah, I would say that's kind of for the front. Oh, maybe down here, yeah, if we kind of go turbocharged, which let's discuss that next, maybe a nice little front mounted intercooler. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about what we have here and what maybe we can see in the next generation. We get under the hood and we have the 2.0 liter Skyactiv G 4-cylinder engine, and it is cranking out 181 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 6-speed manual and then to the rear wheels, with this being rear-wheel drive car. Now, a couple of things with this, we're in the 4th generation. We still haven't met 200 horsepower, and honestly, I'm not mad about it. This thing is so well set up with this car. It feels like it has just plenty of power. It has plenty of power. It revs so nice. It loves those high revs. I love this power plant. It looks like a beefier version of my 2nd generation Miata engine. It looks great. So a couple of things. This is probably the biggest talk of this car, is the engine. So we're gonna have some talks. What can be the next option? 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, same thing, just a varying for option of this. So something a little bit different, maybe reworked heads, that kind of stuff to just give it a little bit more power. Will we see 200? Maybe, we don't know. So what would I like? We could probably go 3-cylinder turbo. So if Mazda can create a 3-cylinder turbo that rivals the Toyota's 3-cylinder turbo, that would be really awesome. We can also go 4-cylinder turbo. So just have this as a, and add the turbocharger to this. Kind of a Mazda speed tribute, so to speak. And we can also go to the very taboo that everyone, or what everyone thinks is taboo, and go EV or hybrid. So what would I like? I would probably say hybrid. So hybrid would definitely give you some great advantages. Yes, we are going to add a little bit more weight, but if we can lighten it up somewhere else, and the biggest thing is putting those battery packs, which probably wouldn't be as much with it being a hybrid and not full electric. We can help with weight distribution. So any little things, you know, placement of those batteries would help. Because when I drove the 4xe Jeep Wrangler, that was the best Wrangler I've driven because of the fact that the batteries were so low and it felt just more stable. Imagine making a Wrangler stable at highway speeds. Yeah, that's, I think, what we can do to this. Improve this chassis even more by adding the weight in the correct spots. That is the big thing with this. I think my next thing, I don't think I'd want to go full electric. I don't think so, because I think the tiny high revving engine is always fun to kind of hear. So I think my next choice would be the 4-cylinder turbo. So we still have this, but just adding a little bit of more power on the top end. And it doesn't have to be big. I mean, we have the turbo from the 2.5. That's insane. That's insane. But I think we still have some, you know, some parts that we can reuse to improve on this. And it doesn't even need that much, to be honest with you, because this power plant has been so much fun to rev. But turbo noises are always fun. So I would say that would be the biggest thing. And with some of the changes that we have with this in the braking system, which we'll talk about next or soon, and you'll see how this can be even more stable in delivering the power and just being a better overall vehicle that is just talking, every component is talking well to each other. Well, what do you think we should have under here? Let me know in the comments. Before that though, let's go ahead and take a look at the wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have the 17-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the Bridgestone Potenza 205/45 tire. Compared to the previous model that I reviewed, I do love those more. You had the nice black BBS wheels on that, a little bit more track oriented, so to speak, but these have been great. Honestly, as far as next generation, we need to keep this formula. 17, I think, is a good size, maybe the max. Tires, it's all about grip. So nice and sticky tire from the factory is great. If not, again, yeah, I know aftermarket is available with different lighter wheels and things like that. But if you just want to offer, Mazda, if you want to offer something that just, you know, get in and drive kind of thing, we need to keep this nice and light, but keep it nice as well. Make sure we have a cool design, just like we do here. So let's go ahead and talk about what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see why the Miata is so incredible. Yeah, this side profile is what makes this vehicle so much fun. It's the formula, it's the proportional and the design formula to it. What I mean by that is we have a big long hood relative, obviously, to the scale, but we have a big hood and we have a small cabin area, so to speak, and then we have an even shorter rear. Yeah, that's gonna be the formula for great looks and a lot of fun, and it definitely feels that for both of them. So what would I like for next generation? Let's keep those proportions going, because I feel like this has been really worked at, and let's have fun with some side skirts, maybe some different side skirts, a little bit more aggressive. I don't know, but still keep actually kind of like the Mazda 3 designs, where you kind of have some beautiful lines that looks like they were carved out of clay. Which I'm sure they were, but let's go ahead and kind of keep that with the Miata for next generation. And for the top, yeah, let's do hard top and let's do soft top as well. I think the RF is a great option, and also for the soft top. Now, massive improvement from last generation, from actually NB, that is the single latch. So we have only, literally, I can just go ahead and from out here, actually just put the top up. And it's very easy to put up. So we have had some improvement from the second generation to this one. I don't know how you guys would improve that latch system, because it's been pretty good and pretty easy, especially even in traffic where I'm like, I want to have the top down. Literally just one-hand it push it back, and I'm good to go. And even like I said, it's so easy. I can literally do it from out here, latch it, and you're good to go. Now, one thing I want to talk about these rears is the change that has happened for 2022. It has the Kinematic Posture Control. What that basically means is when you're turning left, the car is gonna lean to the right. What that actually does is the rear inner wheel, in this case when I'm turning left, the rear left wheel will slightly brake to help balance or correct the car. It's a pseudo sway bar. It's not a true sway bar because, you know, with a sway bar you have, if you go too big, go too small, go too big or small proportionally, it upsets the balance. It changes the behavior completely of the car. This is active when it needs to. So when the car is feeling the roll, it will start to apply a slight brake pressure. And what's great about that is, so my first concern was brake wear. Not the case. It is a slight change to it. It's a slight braking pressure to it. It's not something drastic like you would with, you know, constant braking of ABS, activating, things like that. So it is a slight, you probably won't see a difference between that. But yeah, the big thing with it is it's active when it needs to, and it's not when it doesn't need to. What's great about it is, what's unfortunate about it is you don't see a notification on the dash or anything that it is active. The great thing about it is this car feels way more planted than the Club that I had before that I reviewed, which kind of makes it weird because this Grand Touring, usually we have softer, yeah, you know, more touring kind of things. And that was one of my biggest complaints of the previous generation, or the previous model that I drove of ND. Compared to the 8.6, the Toyota 8.6, and that was that the Toyota felt stiffer with the suspension while this guy rolled significantly more. But adding that on has been a huge difference. It's such a small thing. Now you're probably wondering, well, great, now I have to deal with more, you know, different suspension component or you know, more weight added. Not the case. This is actually completely programmed. It's just a program. So ones and zeros with the already existing hardware, so no additional weight. It's literally just a program of using all the sensors that it has in order to apply that brake. It's been a game changer for how this felt, even better handling ND. So yeah, for next generation, we need to keep that. We really need to keep that system because it made this Miata feel like no other Miata. And that says a lot for this. But yeah, that's what I have for my side profile. Let's go ahead and head to the back. We get to the back and this thing is great. This just looks so awesome. And that's what I'd like for next generation. The biggest thing that I love about this is how it tapers off from a wider front to the narrower rear part here. And that's what I think the next generation needs to keep. One thing I'd like for them to change, which was the biggest talk in my review of the previous one that I did, was the button to open this trunk up. Yes, I was looking all over for where it is that I have to open it up, and it's down here. Yes, so pro tip, you push that and it opens. I don't know, let's put it here on the badge, something a little bit more obvious, or I don't know, maybe it's better that it's secretive down there. But either way, yes, we actually have a ton of space back here, believe it or not. I loaded up with groceries, had no issues with that. Yeah, granted, I had to put some stuff in the passenger seat, but it was just a big shop as well. And with that being said, that's what I want as well. Just make it so that we can have this as a weekend car where we have 2 luggages, enough for a fun weekend getaway, and you're set. So unfortunately, it is going to sacrifice a a donut tire, so you won't have a replacement tire. You do have that little kit that it comes with, so that's kind of the only thing. So you get a flat, that's going to be your saving grace, or yeah, you may need a tow. But overall though, it is going to gain significantly more space. But overall, that's what I'd like for next generation, is to keep this amount of trunk space available. Let's go inside, talk some few things, and then let's go for a ride. Now we get inside and there's a couple of things I love about this. So we get started with the seats. With this being the Grand Touring, we don't have the Recaros that we did before and that we had in the club. I don't mind these. These are just as good of the Recaros. They're not going to be as bolstered as the Recaros were, so they're definitely going to be a little bit more forgiving. One thing I do love about it is we do have a Bose system in this with the speakers on the headrest. Let's keep that. The reason why is because when I made a phone call in this, the speakers on the headrest become the speakers for the person you're speaking to, and it was great. It felt very clear. Didn't feel like down there like it does in other cars, and it's difficult to hear. Having them right back near your ears was perfect. That's what I love. And yeah, this interior is so nice. So let's keep that. Wheel, yes. Let's keep this. This wheel is incredible. I love the feel, even though it is power, electronically assisted. The feedback to this is incredible, and that's the big thing. We need to keep that feeling. Yes, please. And we have the controls, no issues with that. I have no complaints about that. The gauge cluster, I do love the analog gauges. That I don't mind. If we go digital cluster, I'd say this layout is what we need. A nice big tack in the middle so we know when to shift gears. Yeah, I'd say that's the big thing. One thing I really love that I probably overlooked, I don't know if this is a change for 2022, but the push kind of stick here, it kind of zooms in on your temperature gauge. It zooms in and gives you a more detailed of the temperature, so that if you're tracking it, you can keep a more refined eye to your temperature and make sure you don't overheat. So I do love that. That's one of the biggest things that I saw, and I was like, whoa. Again, might have overlooked it with, sometimes we only have these for a week. And infotainment system, yes, I love it. And it is, with this being the Grand Touring, we do have the wireless Apple CarPlay, which has been great. I can have my phone, I don't have to have a cable for it to be able to communicate with this. The screen is nice and small. It's good. It's out of the way. The one big thing it lacks is touch ability when you're moving. We are being forced to use this down here, which is the little control system. I don't love it. It's kind of clunky. You want to go to a specific spot that's on the extreme to where the selection is, and you're having to rotate. It's just very cumbersome. So I would say for next generation, you could keep this, but give me the ability beyond just being still, of using this as a touchscreen. It's honestly safer, because now I'm having to kind of come down here and roll, when I can just go ping, ping, ping. We like the ping, 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 not the roll. So that's what I would say is going to be the better option for next generation. AC controls, very simple. No complaints about that. You could put whatever, you could leave this for all I care. We come down a little bit more, and we have the heated seats, which is nice. Cooled would be a little too much to get that going. The little opening for my phone, it'd be nicer if it were a little deeper, because yeah, my phone barely fits there, and it just became an issue with it spinning, going left and right. And again, with it being Apple wireless CarPlay, we still need the cable though to charge, because we don't have a wireless charger. I would love a wireless charger for the next generation, because that will make it easier for me to really clean up any cables or anything like that. So that would be my biggest ask for next generation. Then obviously we have the shifter. It's great. 6 speeds is incredible. This, please, let's keep a manual handbrake. Let's not go electronic, please, please. So I beg you, Mazda, let's keep this. It's just that experience of just being able to, you know, do that. It's a driver's car. That's what I want. This storage, I could really care less. My kiddo put his lollipop in there because that's pretty much as you can put in that little cubby. The cup holders, gosh, I wish they were forward, but I don't know where because, yeah, they're pretty bad back here. You're having to either do this or do one of these. So that's a little cumbersome. And then with that being said, when you do that, yeah, to get to your actual little storage area in the back, it's, like I said, it's cumbersome. It's kind of annoying. So I don't know. We had it back here in the NB, so I don't know why we can't just get these cup holders to just be part of this. I don't know. Something. Think of it, Mazda. You guys figure it out, but I just know it's a problem. We have that. And with that, I mean, with that being said, give me a glove box. I'd like to have a glove box back because we don't, and that would resolve this storage to put in here. Yeah, that would be really the biggest thing. The top, keep it the way it is, or if you can somehow improve in this awesomeness, because again, like I said, literally one finger, and let's see if I can do this all with one finger. Oh, almost. Okay, I'm not gonna cheat, I promise. Okay, I am gonna cheat just a little bit, but it's literally just a little bit more, but overall I can technically just, you know, pull it back with just a couple of fingers. That's how easy this top is, and let's keep it that way. Well, let's go ahead and go for a ride and have some fun. Let's talk about what the Miata is. We get inside of the Miata and this is what it's all about. Again, we can go through all the little technical things and everything, but I've already done that. You guys can watch that other video. With this model compared to the one I reviewed before, there's a couple of things that have changed. So the other one I believe was like the Club, which was a little bit more stripped down. We got some nice Brembo brakes. We got some nice BBS wheels. This is the Touring one. Oh, and we had some nice Recaro seats. Again, a little bit more Club racer feel to it. This one's a little bit different. This is the Grand Touring. This is more, yeah, we're literally a GT car that we're gonna have some fun in. We're gonna drive for you know, on a massive road trip kind of deal. So, and there's a couple of things that make this one really nice. So one of the things that I loved is the wireless Apple CarPlay. Yes, we now have wireless Apple CarPlay, but you need to have the GT or the Grand Touring trim on this. So we do have it. Only thing is, we still don't have a wireless charger. So we are still needing a wireless charger to really make this the complete system. I don't know where we would put it because there's barely any space, but we definitely need a wireless charging system. But other than that, the wireless Apple CarPlay has been great. Loved it. No complaints there with that. And the other thing with this, and this is a year change, not a trim change, this has the Kinematic Posture Control. Now, what Kinematic Posture Control is that when I take a turn sharply, it will go ahead and brake the inner wheel. So when I take this turn, this right turn sharply, it's gonna brake my inner rear wheel, and that is gonna flatten out the car. It's gonna give me a better turn in with it. And unfortunately, there's no way of kind of seeing when it gets triggered, but let me tell you, when I turn this thing, it definitely feels a lot flatter than the previous generation did, or last year's, or even the one that I reviewed a couple of years ago. And that was kind of one of my biggest complaints with the ND Miata compared to the 8.6. The 8.6 I felt was more planted. It gave me a better suspension feel to it, and this kind of swayed. Now, what's great about this is you don't have, it's not a bigger sway bar to then give you maybe a different balance to the car when you don't want it to. This is active only when you really need it to be, which is on, you know, faster corners. Now, and we still have the fun of the Miata, but it's been incredible. It's such a small thing. Now, the great thing about it is that there's no extra weight, there's no extra hardware, there's no additional piece. It's just a software rewrite of what's already there. Just using the brake system to apply that slight brake. Now, it's not enough to, warrant brake fade or issues with uneven brake wear, because it's like super tiny, the amount that it applies, but it's just enough to get that little bite that you want. And I don't know, you don't really feel it like, oh my gosh, there it is, it's active. It just works. It just works to keep this guy really, really planted. It's incredible. And again, it's like a temporary sway bar. Think of it like that. And it has been such a blast to drive. There's nothing better than Sunday morning drive in some nice twisty roads in a convertible, even though we are at 56 degrees. It's just so much fun. And that's what this Miata is about. This Miata, and again, with just that little change, it's incredible how much it changes the dynamic of this vehicle. I love it. And I wish I had this when we had it at the track, but unfortunately, yeah, there was an incident with the clutch, which kind of confuses me because this has been one of the easiest cars to drive manual that I've ever driven. This should be, in driver's ed, this should be the car that every student has. I remember mine was a Dodge Neon and a Ford Escort. Those were the two that we got to drive. They were automatics, but I think Mazda, you guys should do something and have, high schools with driving learning schools. That would be awesome. Because I think everyone needs to learn how to drive, or needs to experience a Miata, because that's truly what it is. And my neighbor keeps bugging me, hey, let me know when you're gonna, when you have to turn it back in, because I want to go in a ride with you, because it's just that kind of vehicle. Now, my thing is, for the future, what does this hold for the future of the Miata? What are we gonna see next generation, or what can we improve on for next generation? So, a couple of things. Going from my NB, or second generation Miata, to this, one of the biggest improvements that I am seeing is the latch for the convertible top. So that is a huge improvement. That's just literally one hand can just put it back. While the other, mine, I'm having to kind of reach over and do some, some stretching kind of thing. So that's a huge improvement that I see. What I have seen that hasn't changed is the feel of what this car is, what this car gives you, how it makes you feel has been incredible. This vehicle has changed my life. It really has. It's crazy, and yeah, kind of cliche to say, but the way that I felt when I got in this for the first time, when I had this for the club that I had before, it was just a different experience. And and then when I got into mine, it's the fact that I bought one and I'm like, okay, this is what's gonna be my project. It's gonna be something I'm gonna have fun with my son. He's gonna be able to drive it. It's just that's what this car has built. And seeing all those posts on Facebook groups with everyone posting, their experiences, their first Miata, it's just incredible. You guys have, Mazda, you guys have created such an incredible following, it's not even cult following, because you don't have to convince anyone to join the club. You just drive it and you realize, I need to be part of that club. Well, guys, this has been an incredible week. I've had such a blast. I've taken this thing out any chance that I could. Oh, I need to run an errand, need to go get groceries, which you'll see. And it's just been a blast. I can't wait to, I've created some great memories in this ND. It's been unbelievable. And I can't wait to make more in my own car. So I hope you've enjoyed this little fun drive. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.